Oh, it's recording.
Oh. Hello, class.
Hello, class.
How are you? Can't answer.
We're good, thank you. So this is a recap of what we did in the last couple weeks, mostly last week. We started with our double pulse, which was like boom, dun. Oh yeah, that's cool. And like this was like our basic, kind of went like up, like a check mark. And then we did the turn. We went. And then we added in our hips too, kind of just like playing around with it. Bam.
And you can really go to the side, pop your hip.
You can work the turns in these too. Sweet. Yeah, so all sorts of variations. And then we talked a little bit about partner connection, keeping these arms really relaxed, which is something I think most people in the class definitely should be cognizant of.
I would say everybody in the class.
Everyone.
Including me and Robbie too.
Yes, because when you're thinking, it's very easy to be tense, but this video is going to be long. So, talked about pulsing in place and about walking with the pulse, and then we got to our counterbalance for turns. So the first one, we stepped forward and our weight went that way. Then we took our butt back to create a counterbalance, and we drew a line between our feet and our hands. And then we released that, and the arms were pretty relaxed, and Katie went through. And we just backed up to do it this way. Great. Then we did outside turns. We'll do these from like multiple angles. It's pretty crazy. Should have like an interact. Never mind, that'd be way too much. Okay, so then we did the same thing. We stepped and we pretended to come back together, but instead we created this outside turn tension, and leads we walked through our hands and ended up this way, Katie. We'll go this way.
I'll off the video.
So we went.
Remember, leads, really try and follow your follow. If you find yourself standing in one spot while they're spinning, probably wrong.
Oh yeah, we also talked about spinning on a line. Yeah, so like that's what you said, just like you can practice that.
Yeah, follow is really everyone. You can practice spinning on a line like Robbie just said, and keeping your shoulders and hips all lined.
Sweet. Then we went into some juking moves and the closed position. We talked about pulse. Yeah.
Pulse is good. Add in the hips.
Yeah, so if we add in the hips, Katie does the hips too. Or we can just go the regular one. Sweet. Then we talked about counterbalance from closed and how we're pretty much parallel. The leads will cheat a little bit, but our follows will be more parallel in our balance. How our shoulders over our ass, shoulder, ass.
My shoulders are square with his.
Yes. Yeah, sweet. And then we talked about making the V's, right? So if we kind of bring our elbow and do that thing with our hand, we can create V's either way. Let's go. I just turned the long way. Ooh, that's my thing. We like do V's there. And our weights will shift with that. Then we do.
And then we could do bring the mixer.
Oh yeah, so we had the mixer, which is a fun one. Which goes.
That's the mess around.
The mess around.
So that one's the mess around.
Which is the one where your hand stays parallel. And someone told me a word about that. It was sagittal. To our, that's like a brain part, right? Like the sagittal.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we stay sagittal, and that's what gets Katie messing around too. Okay. And there was the mixer.
The one that I actually said.
Oh yeah, she is. and that discussed about staying parallel here. I guess it's still sagittal, but instead of going making the V, we turn. So we twist, counterbalance, whoosh, come back. And we do it like pretty slowly. And we have the luxury of doing this as it's blues dancing. Right?
You can get a really good connection.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. Solid.
And then
Were you eating this gum this whole time?
Yep.
I noticed that.
minty fresh. And then we have the back.
Oh yeah, we had these guys, which are pretty fun.
And remember here, you're putting your foot really just straight back, and it's a pretty small step.
Yeah. Notice how like I'm leaned over a little bit, but not really. Like I try to stay pretty straight rather than like. Oh, that's kind of like a fun variation. I kind of like that. Well, so you can do that too. Who knows? We did the mooches. What's that? Yours in here. Just feel like they'll see my butt past yours. I don't know. Which were like mooch, mooch, mooch. My butt wants a little starlight too.
The rest of you're like kind of picking your hip up, putting it back down. Pick it up.
Oh yeah, good note. When we were doing the pulses also, when we do those, our hips stay aligned with our body, so we're not kind of going like that first. Although that's a cool variation, but the normal one, our hips lead everything. Also not leading like a lot. Oh, that's kind of fun too. There's different variations. The normal one, everything stays together. The fishtails, which incorporated the counterbalance and the V's and everything. Well, not so much counterbalance. So we went on one side, then we V'd up, then down, fishtailed. We put our torsos over our hips again. V'd the other way, went down, fishtailed, and then we kind of, when you put it together, it'll be less broken but smoother. Anything else?
I think, what is it?
Sweet. It was a fun class.
That's all we can think of.
Yeah, next week we'll start with ballrooming blues, which is sweet. Something we're probably better at. Although we're pretty good at everything. So they've said.
Rumors go.
Great. Anyways, you guys are amazing.
Keep up the practicing, practice in mirrors, brushing your teeth.
I'm about to poke you in the face.